Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Ready Set Pop. My name is Mariel Vasori, greeting you from Mexico City, and I'm here joined by two of my beautiful co hosts, Lucas Apache from Brazil and Mauricio Sierra from Colombia. Hey, boys.
Hello,
Hello.
hello.
Feels like deja
I want to,
vu.
yeah,
Yes.
it feels like deja vu. I am so sorry for what happened because we were, broadcasting a few minutes ago, but I had some problems with my connection, so now I'm back. But
Yeah.
we're back with all. So let's start again. Today's episode is a topic that I chose dedicated to great singers whose careers flopped, that didn't deserve to flop because they are great, because they are talented, not only as singers, but songwriters and musicians. So, what do you guys think about this topic, Lucas?
Yeah, I think this is like the center of our universe, the flop girls.
Mhm.
Um, I know there's something special about the girls that are not like a list, but the truth is that some of them really deserve it to be. So I appreciate that Marielle chose this topic today because made me think about some singers that I never tried to understand what happened. Like I know those singers, I know those songs, but I never stop a little to pay attention and try to decode like the reason why they are not on the top. So it's really cool
Hmm.
to make my brain work for that. So it's cool.
And you, look, Mao?
All the time I'm thinking about it, Mariel, because with all of these girls, because today we're talking only about female artists. All the time it's like when this person came out, it's like wow, this gonna be huge, because they have the whole package, like the looks and the voice and the
Hmm.
style and everything, and suddenly it's like what happened with this girl, what happened with this woman, she got it all. So
Yeah.
it's so interesting to talk about this today, and the difference between the for example the underrated girls in comparison to this episode, because people can get confused. It's like these girls had a moment, a huge moment, and then something happened and they flop.
Hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Definitely. So for today, I chose five singers. Um, but the list is huge, we're going to focus today on these five singers that I consider that were, like at the top in the beginning of their career, but all of a sudden their career went like back down.
Nah.
So yeah, it's a shame. It's a shame because the ones that we're going to talk about are really talented.
Yeah.
So let's start with Leona Lewis, British pop R&B singer who won the X Factor in 2008 and who had a huge, massive success with her debut album Spirit and her debut single Bleeding Love, which topped the charts, and not only in the UK but Australia. She was like in everywhere.
All over the world. Yes.
You were like, oh my god, this woman is going to be like, the next Mariah Carey because she has a beautiful voice. She's also mixed race, so she's really beautiful. She has a lot of presence in the stage. So we were all like, wow. I mean, she's going to be like the next best superstar. But
Yeah.
all of a sudden, her following albums began to, and now she's out of the business. She hasn't released new music for years, and we would like to know what happened. What did you think, Lucas? What's your thoughts on Leona Lewis? What did you think happened there? Did you think it was a bad decision from her management, bad choice of singles?
Okay. Well, first of all, I want to say that it was like really visible that she was special from the right beginning. Like the voice was insane, and I remember uh, that I was obsessed after Bleeding Love was released. Just to correct one thing, she was the winner in 2006, Marielle, and
Oh yes,
the
sorry.
yes, yeah, Bleeding Love was actually the number one UK single in 2007 and number one like all over the world was insane, especially for her to have a number one on the US, like as a UK artist. Bleeding Love was number one there too. So she was like huge. And I remember showing her singing live to my parents, to my aunties, to my cousins, like, see this girl singing live is insane, you know. I was like very impressed by her. And for me, what happened is that she had that diva style. Like if the VH1 divas was a thing, like in 2007, she would be there for sure. You know, like she had a voice and everything. But the marketing music was changing a little bit for electropop right after that, and I think they couldn't fit her anywhere anymore. You know, like her music was not what was on the radio anymore. So they tried to reinvent herself in more electronic sound that for me was not good.
Mm-mm,
Uh,
mm-hmm,
Mm.
yeah, not even the style, but the song was not strong enough. Maybe if it was like a song like Kelly Rowland and David Guetta, I don't know, with more
mm-hmm,
powerful vocals and beats and everything, maybe work it. But I think the problem was that they didn't know what to do with her career, what in what direction they wanted to make her music, and that was the case. Like bad management and don't know what to do with such a huge voice in a moment in the music that the voice was not that important, you know.
mm-hmm. For sure. What do you think, Mao? What do you think that happened there? What do you think was missing?
Okay, it's crazy that you mentioned this, Luquitas, because I was obsessed too with Leona Lewis.
Yeah.
In that moment, I was obsessed with R&B music. I remember back in the day in 2008 that was released here in Colombia, Bleeding Love. It was like when I saw the video in MTV, I was like, oh my God, who is this woman? She is the most beautiful woman I ever seen in my life.
Yes,
Her eyes, her presence, her look. She was stunning, and with that voice, I was like, oh my God, is she real? It was amazing, but I think this is the problem when you put a person, because instantly when I saw Leona Lewis, I thought about Mariah Carey. Like she's the next Mariah Carey,
Mm-hmm,
like she's gonna be the next Mariah Carey. She's gonna be and this is the problem, like for me all the time I have reference, like when I listen for the very first time a song or an artist, it's like, oh my God, this sounds very similar to anybody,
okay.
so for Lionel Lewis was the same, like the Mariah Carey effect. um Spirit album is a good album, actually it's my favorite album by Lionel Lewis, but
Hmm.
I perceive the album a little formula, like going in this direction of pop R&B, but at the same time, okay, we want to sell this woman global, like
mm-hmm,
it's impossible to put this woman like an R&B singer, like only for R&B audience, because they
Hmm.
wanted to make her like Mariah Carey, for example. So it
mm-hmm,
was another. I perceive the songs, even when the songs are good, I perceive a lot of songs very formula, in my opinion. Like she worked with people like Neo. I love Neo as a producer, of course. Neo is one of my favorites. But I perceive a little formula in that album. Like it's her, but at the same time, it's not her at all. For completely is not her style. Like she loves R&B. Actually, she had a previous album before X Factor, and
oh
it's
yeah,
very
mm-hmm,
R&B. It's very R&B, very urban, but at the same time the vocals. So yes, she's an R&B artist, but I perceive some songs very like fabricated for her.
mm-hmm,
And she was more like a balladeer, like all the time she was releasing ballads. They tried to release Forgive Me, more upbeat song, like with a little flavor, but they wanted to put her in the same lane of Mariah Carey, making ballads all the time, like Bleeding Love, Better in Time, Run, to make her voice shine. So yes, I think that was not good for her. And when she tried to explore different kind of stuff, people didn't like that, because Psycho, that was the label, or that Simon Cowell was the owner, wanted for her to make like very similar stuff to Bleeding Love, but she wanted to make another stuff. And they were like, no, no. All the time she felt like she was like invisible for the record label. I
Mm-hmm.
saw that in an interview. So she wanted to explore in a different direction, and it was not possible for her. I think that was the other, like this fighting with the record label. Like, I want to do this, but the record label want to put me in this box.
Classic. Yes.
Yeah, I think that something that always happens is that singers know something that, I think this is what's going to take off my career, but sometimes the management won't listen and they only want to, make
Yes.
money. But
Yes.
they're like, I want to do this because I know the power of my voice, I know the power of my talent, and managements are like, no, you're gonna do what we say, and that's about it.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
it's a shame because she really is talented. She hasn't released music in so long.
Mm,
But I think that each one of her albums has something special. But each one of them, as time goes by, um, they began flopping and flopping more and more. I mean, her
Yeah.
first
Yeah.
two did good, but then Glass Heart, which was her third, which is a great album, it didn't do as well. And not to mention, um,
who
what's
I
the name
am?
of the
Who I
song?
am?
Who I
Who
Am.
I am?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that one flopped completely. So I think it was also a little bit in the singles choices.
Oh, okay.
Probably,
Yes.
and maybe if they would have given Leona songs kind of similar to the ones that Adele has released, she would have, took off a little bit more because, Adele has had a lot of singles that were number one. So I think that
Yeah.
songs that were pretty much in that tone, because they both have, huge tones, would have helped Leona.
Yeah. But I think they saw so much potential on her because for me the album was already produced to be like worldwide. It was not common on the X Factor for them to work with like American producers like they did with
Yes.
Neo, Ryan Tedder in Bleeding Love and everything. So they saw a lot of potential on her and they suddenly gave up. Like is really common to, unfortunately, to happen,
Hmm.
especially with
Hmm.
reality stars.
Actually, now that you mention Adele, Mariel, it's funny because I perceive Adele very similar. Like the songs that she released all the time is very similar. In Leona, for example, I saw a lot of different kind of vibes. Like for example, well, Better in Chinese is similar to Bleeding Love, but you have Forgive Me that is very the opposite. It's very different. And
Yeah,
with Adele, I perceive the same, like Someone Like You and the other song that was very famous. I can remember Someone Like You and Set Fire
rolling
to
the
the
deep.
Rain,
Rolling in the
Rolling in
Deep.
the Deep, Rolling in the Deep. Thank you, friends. It's like more of the same, but with her, it worked.
Hello. Yes.
Because
Yes.
I think they try to maintain Adele at the same in the same level of songs. And with Leona, they did this and this and this, and then
Uh,
you're going
I
to
agree.
release a song
Yes.
with Avicii. I think she has a
Avicii,
collab.
yes.
Yes. Biggest
So
mistake.
biggest mistake because
Yeah.
if
Forgive
you
Me
have
was
such a
like
powerful voice, yeah.
Yeah.
a huge hint that they shouldn't release like more dance songs because for she was huge and Forgive Me was not that well on the charts, and then she released it Run and come back to number one. So I mean,
Yeah.
why change so much? But uh, again, at the same time, they try to change because the music industry was changing, and I don't think people ever saw Leona the way they see Adele,
No.
like an iconic thing. Like you see Adele, you know Adele, you know what she's gonna sing. It is not a surprise.
Mm-hmm.
But I
Mm-hmm.
don't think people Leona got in that level to people expect like more and more and more. They try to put her on the pop star package.
Yes,
Yeah,
actually, I think people see Adele like, oh my God, she's very authentic because she writes and she's like very authentic, like a very authentic product
Hmm.
because it's herself. But in the case of Leona, it was like, oh, okay, she's like a X Factor winner, very pop star. Yeah.
yeah. I think there was
Yeah.
some mistakes there with Leona, and well, we know she has a powerful voice. Let's hope she releases more music in the
Yeah.
future, and that she gets to rise up again because she's a great singer, and you
Yeah.
don't get to listen to great singers anymore. So
No.
yeah,
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
especially like her.
Yes.
So
At least she has one more sleep on the charts every year on Christmas,
yeah,
Oh,
like
yes,
with
it's
her
true.
Mariah.
Christmas songs.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so well, next I'm going to talk about another one that was part of a reality show, but didn't win. Was the second, was the first runner up, but she was like the popular one, the one everybody wanted to win, and I'm talking about Catherine McPhee. Um, we all know Catherine had, the whole potential to win American Idol, but somehow she didn't, and she ended up in second place. And when she released her first album, which is a masterpiece, thank you for releasing that album, Catherine, because it's a great pop music album. They knew how to, get Catherine. Like, okay, she's pop, but with a powerful voice because she also knows how to sing. She was, like the new Christina Aguilera in America because she has, this powerful voice. But I think, in my opinion, that the single choices were what didn't help. Because if you ask me, I mean, Over It was okay, but then Love Story, why would they release that song as a single? That song didn't even chart. I mean, it's crazy. I think that the single choices, it's what happened there with Catherine. And the
Yes.
direction that they decided to take off after that. I mean, her second album was more, it was pop, but more sad. I don't know. I never really got into that album. And then she, after years and years, she released her album Hysteria, and then she released Christmas songs and other like jazz swing. So I think that she hasn't been pretty on the way on the path that she deserved. What do you think, Mao, about Catherine?
Well, Mariel, I love the first album for sure. And I love Over It as the first single. With Catherine, in my opinion, I think she wanted to take another direction in her career because she didn't want to put in that pop star box, like I don't want to be like this kind of girl. And it worked at first because Over It was good. I don't know if it charted in the Billboard Hot 100. I think it did.
Yeah,
Yes,
I did.
Yes.
yes, of course. But then, as you said, the single choices was not right, maybe, and I think she wanted to make another stuff, not only music. She wanted to make some movies, some this kind of special, and I think she considered herself more like a pop star. She considered herself as that thing that she's doing right now with her husband David Foster. Like I'm this kind of jazz diva, like with the specials and the
Yes.
stuff like
The
that.
piano
I
girl. Yes.
Yeah, the piano girl and the jazz girl and the vocals and this kind of performances that she did or that she does all the time with her husband. So yes, I think it was, I don't know, it was her decision, but I think she was more interested in another kind of ventures, not only the music, but I want to make
Hmm.
movies, I want to make this the stuff, and she didn't want to people put her in that pop star box. For me, it was the reason. But I don't know. I'm not seeing Catherine McPhee like fighting with the record label because I think she was very free. And with her husband right now, it's like I'm doing this because I want to do this. Like she was like in Broadway too. So yes, I want to do this. I want to do this. Like she was not a prisoner of the record label, in my opinion.
What do you think, Lucas? Do you think it was more like a choice of doing a lot of stuff, but not focusing only on one? What do you think?
I think she's the type of artist that is an artist, and she knows that she gotta work her ass sometimes to keep working, you know? Because when they released the first album, there I think they were expecting more in terms of numbers. Like Overrate was like 29, I think, on Billboard, was not even a top 10, and she had a potential. I'm misspelling this word all the time. Potential. And because like somewhere over the rainbow, she sang on American Idol and was like 12 on Billboard, like way better than
Why?
the actual single.
Yeah.
Because iTunes was the way songs went viral back then, you know. So that's the reason. So I think they were expecting more, but Love Story for sure was like, "Oh,
A bad
poor
decision.
choice." Yes, I mean she's stunning on the video. I think I don't know. She's more beautiful than ever in that video. She looks like a doll, and but the song was not a great choice. And I think they should try to release a third single, but never happened. And when they released another album that was Unbroken, they released Had It All as the first single that is
It's
not a
so
great
boring.
track. Yeah, and she was all changed. And I think kind of happened. You guys are familiar with the Felicity TV show and the story that happened with the show. Like
Know the story.
the girl had
Oh,
like a huge hair. She was like stunning, and in one season she cut it the hair like short, and the show flopped because of the hair. Because
Okay.
people wouldn't see her with the hair. That kind of happened with me with Catherine McPhee, because I remember I was like fascinated by her beauty, and when she come back with the short blonde hair, I was like,
yeah.
it's not her anymore. The song is boring. I don't know. So I think she started to take every opportunity to continue working and being an artist in the way she can. Kind of similar with Pia Toscano,
Yeah.
also from American Idol, that she
Yes,
had
I.
like
Sorry,
a
friend,
huge
but I
voice.
perceive that they are very similar. Like they are
Yes,
very similar. They are beautiful, stunning voices. They are really similar. I was about
yeah,
to mention Via Toscano because it's the same story.
and they do what they gotta do to continue working. I think in case of Catherine, I'm not saying that she's taking an advent. She's taking this in the wrong way, but she's married with someone who can keep her more surrounded by musicians and this universe. I'm not saying that that's the reason why she's married with him, but it is what it
Okay.
is.
He's
Well,
handsome.
yeah. So, but I think is this case. She knows that she gotta work in opportunities.
I think,
Okay.
in my opinion, if she would have focused more on working as a Broadway girl since the beginning, things would have been different. Kind of like a Judy Garland, or yeah, from the Wizard of Oz, and she sang, the
Yeah,
somewhere over the rainbow. If she would have started in that direction, maybe things would have been different for her, because
But
she
yeah,
has the presence for theater, and she has the voice for musical theater. So
yeah.
maybe I could picture her more in that direction.
And she was a good girl in a moment that
maybe it
media
was not
was
the
not
trend
super attracted by
into.
good girls. They wanted the bad ones. So
And
Yeah.
actually, I think she thinks that she is the new Judy Garland. Like I'm the new Judy
oh,
Garland of this generation because I can see that in her. Like I'm not saying she's like that, but I can see like, oh my God, I'm the Judy Garland of this generation. I think she thinks she is.
Yeah, maybe, but she should stay in that direction and not release jazz songs and then swing
Yes,
and then this and that. I think she's like we say here in
everywhere,
Mexico, she's mixing candy with chili with this and that. So it's like, do something in the same
specific.
direction, specific.
Yes,
Yeah. So because you're mixing what you're doing, and
a lot of things. Yeah.
you're confusing people with, why are you singing this now and then I can see you on movies and I can see you on theater. So maybe she should establish one single direction to be more popular. But
Yeah.
well, I
But
guess
I
she
gotta
wanted to
say,
try it all.
Terrified is a great song. Let's just say.
Terrified. Oh yes, yes. And the
So
third
beautiful.
album, Hysteria, is amazing. It's
Yes.
so pop.
Yeah. And Marielle, I wanna ask you just to say something about Leona that I forgot. I think it's Tiesto. They are sample in the new song "Bleed in Love." So I think there's a chance to "Bleed in Love" like to come
To
back.
remerge.
Yes,
Okay.
like Sophie Alex Baxter and Natasha Bedingfield, maybe.
Oh, okay,
Yeah, I
Okay.
maybe
forgot to mention that. Yes,
that could work maybe to bring her back into the charts.
yes.
So, well, moving on, let's go all the way to Australia with one of my favorite singers in the world, one of the most underrated. And this girl did wanted to remain in that direction, but the label changed her. So I'm talking about Gabriella Chilme.
Yes.
Great singer, great singer. She had a lot of potential because when she released her debut song, Sweet About Me, she was only 16, 17. I mean, she was like super young. And she already sounded like a younger, healthier Amy Winehouse. So everybody was like, wow, this woman can sing. Her song was really popular on the charts. Her music even made it to the UK. She was beginning, to rise. And she loved that direction, that jazzy pop direction. She wanted to keep that. But for her second album, which is amazing to be honest, but the label decided to make her a more pop electronic diva, and she wasn't happy with that because she wanted to remain in the jazz pop direction because she knew the quality and the power of her voice.
Hmm.
And so they decided to, no, you're not going to do that again. Now you're going to be like more electronic and you're going to show more skin. You're going to be, using small dresses for your videos, and things change for sure. And I think that's what didn't help Gabriella, even though the second album is great when it comes to pure pop music. But I think that if she would have followed her footsteps on the first album, things would have been different. I don't know how familiar you are with Gabriela Mal, but I would like to know your opinion.
Okay, actually, Mariel, I knew Gabriela because of you, because you shared
Oh,
songs with me. Yes, actually, but I knew her name. I knew that was someone that was Gabriela Shilmi, but I never explored more about her music scene till you share with me the songs of her by her. So, well, this is the perfect example when you have a reference and it's so difficult to see other singers in a different way, Like in that moment, we had Amy Winehouse as a reference. So, in the case of Duffy or Gabriela Chilmi, it's impossible not to compare. Like, oh, this girl is doing the same stuff, Like this kind of voice, very raspy, very dark voice. In the case of Gabriela, it was different because she was like singing about different stuff, not so sad stuff. She was like in the happy place. So it was good for her, but at the same time, it was like, oh, okay, she's the new Amy Winehouse or she's another Amy Winehouse. This is one thing that I think it was not good for her. And the other thing, and if we see this list, we are talking about a lot of girls that were not from the US. In the case of Gabriela, she's from Australia, right?
yes.
And
Hmm.
for example, Kylie Minogue, that it's a huge, huge icon. It's like she's not that huge in US, and it's crazy because you see, and it's like she is a great icon. For example, here in Latin America, she's huge. So in the case of Gabriela, I think it's the same. When you see an artist is good and got the looks and got everything to become a star, it's like what is happening if this person is not from US or is not making a huge career in the US? It's like okay, maybe she's not gonna get a lot of success because she's from Australia, she's from UK. You have to make this impact. You have to have this impact in US to become famous and to become an icon and to become a star. So I think this is the other reason of Gabriela's career didn't took off.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
and you share with me the songs from her first album, and yes, I like it. No crazy about her, but yes, she's good. She has a good voice. And in the second album, something happened. Like I was listening to the sophomore album today, to make this episode, and I was like, what happened? It's very pop. It's very, and Dallas Austin was involved on the production, and I was expecting something different. Like, okay, maybe it's R&B or soul, or but it's not like that. It's like very pop, and I think she was losing her identity. Like her identity was more like jazz, soul, and it was like, what happened? And I think the second album is more reliable. It's more like friendly, with radio friendly, to say that. But at the same time, it's not. I can see her. Like yes, it's not her for me.
Yeah, and if you listen to the third album, she wanted to come back to the original roots,
Mm,
and she moved to a different label, and she released this album, which is called The Sting, which is fabulous, and she has such a powerful voice. She wanted to come back again, but she, like Lucas mentioned, she changed her looks, and that didn't help because she cut her hair like super short, and she was, all covered. She looked so different from the Gabriela we knew at the beginning. So I think that didn't help either. But now I want to know what you think, Lucas.
I think for her, as Mal said, was like a blast and a curse that she sounded like Amy Winehouse and Duffy, because that type of voice was like uh, peaking on the UK. Like all the singers wanted to sound like that, and I don't think she was trying to sound. I think it's
no.
definitely her voice. Uh, and Sweet About Me is like great song, like timeless. It's always gonna be a great song. And I was checking like my last FM because to be honest, I never super dig into her discography. I don't know much, but I realized that I heard the first single from the second album. Then I think it's
On a mission.
on a mission. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
I heard in the day that was released, and Nevermore. And for me was really weird because listening now, I was like, this song is good. Why I listen like once and never again sound like something I would be like addicted and listen. But I think it was a moment in time, 2010, that we had too many girls like to compare again,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
like Katy Perry, Lady Gaga, and Kesha. Everyone was doing really pop music, even Rihanna. So maybe the song sounded weak for me back then, and there was a lot of 80s references in the track that now is very common to listen.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe in 2010 sounded weird to me. I don't know. Uh, but one thing is for sure her voice doesn't fit to the song. Sounds stranger to me. Like it's a very amazing song, but her voice is not for that. So
Yeah.
sounds weird. But I wanted to listen to the whole album after
Oh,
this.
please do, because
Yes.
it's beautiful. I mean, in the pop direction, it's great. But when you think and you actually listen to her interviews, and she says, I didn't want to do this kind of music. I wanted to remain in the same direction of Sweet About Me because that's this style that fitted me the most. That the record
Yes.
label insisted me to change because like you mentioned, Katy Perry, Lady Gaga, and all those singers were at the peak, and they were like, "Oh, you have to compete with them,
Yeah.
and you have to show skin." And she wasn't comfortable with that. So I think that if you are not comfortable with whatever it is you're doing, you're not gonna succeed, and that's definitely what happened with Gabriella.
Hmm. Yeah.
For sure.
So shame, because she's really talented. She keeps releasing music from time to time, but it's not the same. Um, but well, let's hope that she gets back to her original roots soon. And
She
now
actually
staying,
actually she's very young. She's our age. Like
she's
she's
our
our
age.
age.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
really
Yeah, she's
young.
really,
Really young.
yeah.
Really.
She's a baby.
Really
She's
young.
our age.
Yeah,
She's
it's
basically
really
starting the
young.
life. Yes.
Yeah. So well, moving on with another singer from Australia. This one, it's really, she always caught my eye. And the other day, well, not so long ago. I posted on my Mariel Talks Pop account, you know, the full discography of this woman, and people was like, she released so many albums. I only knew her first, and people don't even know that she has released a bunch of albums. I'm talking about Miss Natalie Imbruglia, because people think that she only was popular because of the song "Torn" in 1997, and that that's the
Mhm.
only album she released. But she has released 8 studio albums, and not many people know about that. And she has a huge talent because she's a great singer and a great songwriter.
Yes.
So I don't know what happened to her because she was actually mentioned as one of the most beautiful women in the world back in the day, because she's really pretty, you know, and she had a lot to offer, but people slept on her. I don't know what happened. Mao, I want to know what you think on Natalie.
People slept on her. Yes, that's the definition, mi Mariel. I never. I love Torn. I love Natalie Imbruglia, but I never was so much into her music. You know, like I never explored more beyond
Hmm.
the first album or Torn. For some people, she's like a one-hit wonder with Torn, but it's silly because she's not a one-hit wonder. She has another wonderful songs like Wrong Impressions and other songs. I love Wrong Impressions too. Yes, and if you listen, every album has a wonderful song.
Yes.
Maybe I'm not a huge fan of all her catalog, but I've been listening like one song by an album, like the single or something, and it's great, you know. And it's funny because you said like, what happened with this girl? Why in that moment I never heard of this song like back in the day, you know, like was released, but I don't know what happened. So I don't know. She had the looks. She's beautiful. She's really pretty. And I love by her that she embraced so much the turn success, you know,
Yeah.
because
She's still.
some yes still because some singers, and we talk about that in other episodes, it's like, okay, I don't want to be involved to this song that make me famous, you know, like
Yeah.
I hate this song because all the time people is talking about this song all the time, and I don't want to know about this song anymore. But with Natalie's total is totally the opposite. She embraces so much Torn, and she feels blessed to be like, because this song had a lot of versions, like the original is for a band, and the
Yes.
other two versions. But because of her, this song was huge
Yeah.
everywhere, like global. So I love this by her, but I think yes, this churn effect for me, like this one was huge, but what happened next, nobody knows. Like for me, she was considered a one-hit wonder, and it was not good for her.
No, definitely. And I don't know if it's because of one song that is like she took off like Leona with Bleeding Love. And then the following singles weren't that good. And
Yes, were
people were
weak.
like, these are not that good. But she didn't care. I mean, she has released music ever since. She hasn't
Yes,
stopped.
and good
But
albums.
and very good albums, but for
Yes,
sure she's I don't know if it's because she's more like a pop rock girl more than a pop woman, and she's that she hasn't took off like she should. I want to know, Lucas, here, what do you think, because I know you are so much into pop rock. What's your opinion on Natalie's career?
Yeah. First of all, I want to say that I remember my mom watching her music video back in the day and trying to copy the hair. She
Oh yeah.
oh
wanted the same
okay.
hair. I remember so much. She was like, I need this hair. Oh my God. I was like 8, and the music video was on MTV all the time. And I remember my mom saying the guy in the music video was hot, and the hair she wanted so much. I have these memories. Sorry. And I think in her case, is something similar to Carly Rae Jepsen in the sense of the magnitude of the song, you know? Like,
Hmm.
not everyone is like us that try to discover music and is always looking for more and more and more. So when you have a song like Torn that is iconic, and I mean iconic, like really iconic. Uh, and people listen to the next single on the radio and it's not that iconic, I think it's easy for people to let go, you know? Like, I prefer Torn. I prefer Torn. And
Mm-hmm.
comes a
Yeah.
moment that they don't even try anymore, which is a shame because, as Mal said, like I really love "Wishing I Was There." Wishing that song is really good.
Love that song.
And
Yeah.
yes, Wrong Impressions, Shiver, like she has a lot of amazing songs. And but I think it's like that, and just like Cardi Rae Jepsen did, she continued to release the music that she loves, the music that is genuine for her. And if happens again to have like a huge hit like Padam for Kylie Minogue, who knows? I think it's gonna be like a blast, but they can make music without expecting that. Um, but I think it's the Torn is the fault for that. You know, it was too good.
Yeah. Yeah, and people expect that every one of her
Yeah,
songs should be on the same level. So yeah, I get it.
exactly. Yes.
But for those of us who love, getting into an artist's discography, we know that there's more than Torn out there
Yes.
from
So
Natalie's
much more.
discography. So please do yourselves a favor
Yeah.
and listen to her entire discography. You
I'm
guys will
dying
be
to listen
amazed.
right now. I
Yes,
wanna
she's
listen
so
right now.
good. Her
Yes.
second album, White Lily's Island, is a gem, darling, a gem.
Yes. Yes.
But well, the next singer and the final one I want to talk about is American, and she didn't succeed. I think this happened. The same thing happened with her debut song. It was so big, everybody
Yeah.
loved it, but then people expected the same. And I'm talking about Miss Vanessa Carlton. Um, I posted the exact same thing on my account, her entire discography, and I got another message. Don't remember from who, and they were like, wow, she has released so many albums. I only knew two. And I'm like, okay. So
Hmm.
people don't know that she has kept releasing music and that she is tired of only being acknowledged of 1,000 miles. We know it's a great song, but Vanessa, if something, she's a great songwriter and a great piano player. So she's more than just, one song. But I
Yes.
think people has also slept on her, and I don't know if they consider her music to be boring or not or whatever, but I
Hmm.
do know that she's really talented. What do you think, Mao? Do you like Vanessa? What's your thoughts on this woman?
I don't hate her. I don't love her. uh, I don't know if I like her. Okay, something that I put in my notes was that when a big hit destroys your career, I think what happened with with this woman, with Vanessa Carlton, it was like 1,000 miles was so huge, was a reference, was in a movie, everybody was talking about this song, and this song destroys her other catalog, because people want more about that, like, oh, okay, I think it's very similar what Lucas said about Natalie Imbruglia. Like, okay, listen to other songs by her, like Ordinary Day, and people, even it's a good song, but people, it's like, no, we want 1,000 miles,
Yeah.
it's a smash powerful hit. So yes, I think that what happened with Vanessa Carlton. In the other hand, it's my personal opinion. I don't consider her music very attractive, very catchy. She's more like a piano girl. She's more like very acoustic in a way. And another fact, and it was so funny because I was reading like the comments and the comparison with Michelle Branch, and I want Lucas to talk more about this because it was like, oh, I never realized that there were two different people, like,
Oh,
I think Michelle Branch had her moment back in the day, and Vanessa was like in the shadow. Like, is the same girl? It's not the same. Like, even some people think that 1,000 miles was sung by Michelle.
I
So
mean,
it's
yeah.
crazy. Yes, because all the time, like in the shadow, they were very similar. I think they are very similar. Like the dark hair and stuff like that. So yes, I think what happened with Vanessa, even I consider she's a true artist. Like she writes her songs and she's very authentic. Maybe I don't know. Maybe Luquitas has a more objective
Yeah,
opinion about her.
I want to know, Lucas, what do you think?
Yes, actually,
Yeah.
I'm on the edge of my chair, waiting for Lucas' opinion.
First of all, I never understood this comparison with Michelle. I think
Me
it's kind of
neither.
racist just because they look alike a little. Because Michelle is Asian, and I don't know. I think it's about the looks, not about the songs, because it's nothing similar about the songs, like nothing.
No, nothing.
And but it was very common. Actually, I remember my friend Priscilla saying, "Do you like Vanessa Branch?"
Yeah.
She unified the
The two.
you know, like one thing. I was like, no, I like Michelle Carton. Sorry. And yes, I always remember this. I always remember Vanessa Carton in Brazil and people calling to the radio asking her how was to sing with Santana, you know. And I don't get it, but okay. I remember the first time I heard A Thousand Times on the radio. Also, I remember the girl in the radio saying, "This girl is 17. Her song is like doing great on the US, A Thousand Miles." And when the song starts, I was like, "Really?" Because it sounded so classic to me. You know, I think
Mm-hmm.
with time we learn to love that song. Uh, Pretty much in Brazil because of the hot chick, the white chicks movement.
Mm-hmm.
People
Mm-hmm.
remember
Mm-hmm.
because of that actually. But it's a great
Yes.
song. I'm not saying that, but I think if it was not that moment in time when they were trying so hard to make the anti-Britney thing going on, maybe even A Thousand Miles would not be that huge, you know, because sounded a
Maybe.
little classic for me. Yes. So I think with Michelle was easier to stay like on radio because she was more for radio, like All You Wanted, Everywhere, Are You Happy Now? She was singing with Santana, and everything that Vanessa Carlton released after was not that radio friendly. I don't think she cared about that, but I cannot see songs like that like being hit after hit. You know, there's no way.
No.
Yeah, but doesn't mean it was not good. I really love Hands on Me. I really love White Houses. So beautiful. Those songs are so beautiful. But I don't think she was meant to be a girl from for the radio. I don't think so.
No. And people sometimes don't. Well, she in particular, I think she knows how to write. She's a great
Yeah.
songwriter. I mean, she sings beyond the typical stuff. So I think she has a
Hmm.
wider vocabulary. She's really you know professional, and people
Oh
sometimes don't
yeah.
care about that. People's
No.
like, oh,
Yeah.
if you're not singing about this or that, you're not
Hmm.
important, and that's a shame because sometimes artists have a lot to show and people sleep on it. So yeah, I think that's something that happens with Vanessa.
Yeah. I think so. Like White Houses is like so well written. Like she's talking about losing her virginity, but it's the way she sings about that like makes you kind of feel the experience through
Yeah.
what
For the
she
lyrics.
was. Yes, through the lyrics is really beautiful. And I don't think to be great you need to be on top of the charts, and that's the case with Vanessa Carlton. But I also don't think she's a singer to everyone. Like
Yeah.
she's not mainstream, you know, at all.
She's
Yeah.
not mainstream. Yeah.
But for sure underrated. That's for sure.
Yeah. And I think she had an attitude that kind of she felt like she was better sometimes than,
Yeah.
you know,
Hmm.
like in the interviews she was always like like she felt like she was better than the other artists. So
Because
I
she
don't
knew
know.
how to play piano, and
Yeah.
most of the pop girls don't play any instruments. So she was like,
Yes.
oh, you know what, I have an advantage here, I know how to play piano and I'm very good at it. So
I
um
remember that.
yeah, so that makes sense. But anyway,
for
well,
sure.
these are the five girls I wanted to talk about. But I want to ask you guys, which other singers do you consider? I know there's a lot, but which ones do you consider that are great singers, songwriters, performers, but just didn't do well? Lucas.
Um, for me, is in like when I think about Leona Lewis, I always think about Jordan Sparks. Like
Mm-hmm.
in terms of voice, I remember she had hits like in a moment they released that song "I Am a Woman," I think, as like the first single of a third album that never came, and the song was bad. So sometimes I think, are do they trying to ruin those girls? Because
Mm-hmm.
I can say the song is bad. How cannot like the label owner cannot say So sometimes I think it's like, okay, this girl is done. We don't want to waste more money. So I don't know, but she deserved it more for sure. Jordan Sparks and Jesse James Decker for me
Oh
too.
yes. Mm-hmm.
Like her first album is perfect. I love so much the way she mixed pop music and country and a little bit of pop rock and everything together. And her voice is very similar to Christina Aguilera sometimes, like it's a huge voice. And she was beautiful, sexy, and everything. So she deserved more. She continued releasing music. I think she's more famous on US for the personality. I think she was in reality shows and
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
things like that. She had a bunch of kids. They are all strong. I don't know if you guys ever saw it.
No.
Though I
It's
don't
like
think so.
7 years old kids with six packs.
Okay.
It's crazy.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So she's
Crazy.
she's famous on the US, but I don't think her music got the attention she deserved it. Yes.
And what do you think, Mel? Which other singers do you think fit in this category?
Oh well, I want to talk about two. One from R&B star of was one two from R&B space from R&B world, and one from the CCM world to like to come back to my roots.
No.
Talking about R&B, I think Maya, because like Maya was in the same lane of Brandy, Monica, Aaliyah. She was like the fourth princess of R&B. She had all the potential, like the voice, the looks, the dance. She's an incredible dancer. And yes, and something happened, and it was not for her. Like she had her moment with Lady Marmalade, with Christina, Pink, and Little Kim. She had a case of the X and other songs, but I think like it's like that. For example, with you can see other R&B singers from the 2000s, and it's like all the time in the R&B world, like
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Keisha Cole, Emery, Ashanti. They were like putting music just for this kind of world, like for them was so difficult, like to be recognized as I don't know, as a Whitney Houston or Mariah Carey, even when, for example, Whitney or Mariah are R&B singers, but at the same time are pop worldwide famous.
Okay.
So
Hard
in
to
the
get
case
out of
of
the bubble. Yes.
yes, in the case of Maya, it was like that. Like, okay, I
Mhm.
got all the looks. I could be the next Janet Jackson, but it was not for her. Like,
I think she
sadly,
was so humble that
yes,
stayed in her way, because if you watch like the Lady Marmalade, like when they were recording the video, she was more quiet. It's almost
yeah,
like she was thinking, I don't deserve to be here. And when you watch like MTV VMAs 2003, everything happening in the stage with Britney, Christina, Madonna kissing, she was in the audience kind of like, what am I doing here? I'm
What am
not
I
that good.
doing? Yeah.
You can see in her eyes like something like that. So maybe it
Yeah.
was someone.
yeah. Yeah, and actually, I follow her on Instagram, and all the time she's putting different kind of stuff, about health, about food, about music too. And actually, she's working on music all the time.
Yeah.
She's been releasing a lot of music. She's
There's a new
not
one.
away from the
Yes.
music. Yes,
Hmm.
but yes, she's talking about different stuff. I think, and one thing that I can remember right now was like in this world, for example, when she released the Best of Me remix with Jay-Z. She once in an interview she was talking about that experience and was like, okay, we are putting Jay-Z in your remix because the original song is with Jadakiss. Of course, Jay-Z was bigger in comparison to
Yeah.
Jadakiss back in the day, and it was like good, be good with him. So it's like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, she was like, I don't have to be good with anybody, like it is so sad, the way they treated singers, like female singers back in the day, because of that.
Yeah.
So yes, I
Underrated.
was there's that was another reason. And checking the CCM, I think it was a reason, but Nikki Leonti, I think Nikki Leonti had, like, she was before the Stacey Rico, Rachel Lampa, Joy Williams
Yeah.
explosion, like the pop girls explosion. She was before that, and she was so good in the charts, but because of her pregnancy and all the stuff in the Christian community, it was not possible for her to continue her career. But she started with so much success in the CCM world.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, I think Nikki Leonti was like the first princess of CCM before Stacey or Rachel and not the others. So yes,
For sure. Yeah. Yeah, there are so many. I mean, we could go on and on. Like I was actually thinking about Jennifer Page and
yeah,
how people only loves Crush but don't know what's out there. I mean, she has a lot of songs. So, I mean, there are many
Yeah.
singers like that. We can make a second episode of this one if you guys
Yeah.
want.
Totally.
for sure.
But for to finish, I want to ask you just your favorite song by Leona Lewis, Lucas,
Run.
Mao.
Ooh, it's hard. I love Leona. Oh, it's hard. I think Take a Bow.
Take a bow. Okay. Mine, I hate this. There's one from her third album called Shake You Up. I love that song.
Okay, 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 okay.
Yeah. And from Catherine Lucas.
Uh, Over it. Sorry. It's cliche, but it's this one.
Okay. Mo?
I love Over It, of course. It's like, but from her first album, Everywhere I Go, it's the last track.
Hmm. It's very pretty. I love it. And I love from her first album too. There's one called I'm Not Your Girl. That's my favorite.
Okay, okay, okay. Yes,
Yeah.
good song too.
Written by Cara Dioguardi. So
Yeah.
I love it.
Oh,
As
okay.
always.
Yeah, as
There
always.
you go.
And by Gabriela Lucas.
uh, I gotta say sweet about me because I don't know much, but
Okay.
I will listen. I promise.
Okay, Mo.
I don't have a favorite one by her, but I'm gonna listen more.
Okay. Well,
I'm
my
not saying sweet about me,
yes.
because yes, I'll be a liar if I say I love the song, because it's not true. Maybe actually I was thinking about that today when I was listening like a little portion of her second album. I was like, oh, I have to listen all her discography.
Yeah. Same.
Yeah.
Same.
Okay. My favorite by Gabriela, it's one from her debut album. It's called Sit in the Blues. My God,
Okay,
her voice in that song,
okay,
dang. I mean, she was on point.
okay. It's so good to have
But
a reference from you.
yeah, yeah, because well, you know I love Gabriela, so yes.
Yes.
Lucas, your favorite song by Natalie?
I think it's wrong impression.
Mao?
Oh. It's cliche by Torn. Torn, it's like the anthem of my
Yeah.
life.
Uh,
What about you,
uh,
Mariel?
I'm thinking. um, there's one from her album Counting Down the Days. I think it's called Starting Today. I love that song.
Okay,
It's
Starting
really
Today. I'm not gonna waste another moment. I love the
yeah.
message in that song. Yeah.
okay,
Torn is a song that follows me. I think I said that here once. Like I'm in the Uber, Torn is playing. Supermarket, Torn is playing like everywhere.
Oh, no
I don't
Yeah.
know
way.
what happens. Yes, that happens a
Well,
lot with what took you so long by Emma Bunton too. Like everywhere I
Okay.
go, it's playing.
Really? Okay.
Yes,
Well, and your favorite song by Vanessa Lucas?
it's hands on me for me.
No.
No, I don't have one. Actually, today I was watching the Hands of Me video because I
I love
remember when I had a conversation with Luquitas about her once, and he was like, "Oh, I love white houses and Hands
Houses.
White
on
House
Me."
is hands on me. Yes,
Yes, and I was like, I have to re-watch this video, and the video is very good actually of
yes,
Hands on
Okay.
Me. But I don't have I have to explore more of Vanessa for sure.
Okay. My favorite is called Sway. It's from her debut album, Be Not
Okay.
Nobody. It's
hmm
I love the piano in that song. Please give it a listen. I love how she plays the piano there, and
Okay.
the lyrics are quite good. So well,
Okay. Okay. Okay.
that's about it for today. I hope you guys had fun here with us. We have a message from our friend Joaquin, all the way from Chile. He says, "Great episode, great as always. What Lucas mentions is true. Tiesto, featuring Carl G, used the interpolation of Bleeding Love, and it was quite a debate on social networks, but Leona and Artetet supported."
yeah. Jess McCartney is
Didn't know that.
supporting the song too. He's the writer.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Yes,
I didn't know that. Thank you, Joaquin, for watching here with us, and for those of you watching live. For
Yes.
those
Very
who
good. Good information.
Yeah, and
yeah.
for
Thank
those
you
of
for
us,
him.
and for those of you who are not watching live but are watching the rerun, thank you so much for watching. We appreciate so much all of your support and your love, and we want to say thank you once again for being here with us. Another week, another episode.
Yeah.
Don't forget to subscribe and give us a big thumbs up. And Lucas, any final words?
I just want to say thank you guys for this track that we are doing. Thank you, Joaquin, for your comment. Thank you, everyone watching, and can wait for the next. I love being with you guys.
Yes, thank you, Lucas and Mau.
Thank you, everybody. As always, it's amazing to have this kind of chat all the time, like talking about these people that we love. So thank you, the audience. Thank you, guys. You are amazing as always.
Yes, we love you so much. Keep tuned and thank you, boys. See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.